Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Ricardo. Welcome to my home in Mexico City. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
My name is Ricardo Barroso. I'm an architect. I studied architecture and I went to work in an architectural firm in Mexico City many years ago. And after a while, I decided to open my own practice. And I grew up from there. And then during 2007, the market crashed. I decided to go on another direction, which was interior design. I became the first interior designer in Mexico because back in the day, nobody did it. In 2019, I got a client from Spain to do the Four Seasons Hotel and Residences, the residences. So I moved to Spain, opened an office over there, and moved there, but then COVID hit. So I had to reanalyze my situation and where I was in the world in the day. So I decided, after carefully watching all my social media and my friends in Miami, having such a good time, I decided to go to Miami to explore what could be done in Miami. So I opened an office in Miami and started working over there. And so now, today, I have offices in Madrid, Spain, in Miami, Florida, and in Mexico City. Half of my family is from Spain, and half of my family is from Mexico. So I have all these beautiful antiques that my family from Spain brought from Europe many years ago. And my family from Mexico is also half Italian and half Mexican. So I'm a mixture of all of those. It was funny because I used to be very contemporary. You know, all my homes were very contemporary. As you might, if you go on my website, you could see all my style. It ranges from really contemporary to really classic, no? And so at the beginning, I was all contemporary. And one day, my mother came into my house and she said, you know, maybe it's time for you to grow up as a designer. And I said, what do you mean? And she says, well, you see, you have all this beautiful furniture, but it's all contemporary. And you have to incorporate a little bit of antiques to it. So I started mixing it, and it's very tricky to mix antiques in contemporary. So one never knows which one, it's too much going to the antiques or too much going to the contemporary. So my home is a bit of that. It's like my laboratory where I can mix and match and see what works and what doesn't work. And so it's a very cozy place. It's a little bit of everything. I think it tells the story of who I am today. Maybe tomorrow my house will be different, but today I'm this. Welcome to my living room, where you can see the first thing you see when you walk in the house is this beautiful boiserie table by Erica Bronson, which is wonderful. It's from 20th century. You can see my beautiful quartz. I love stones, as you can see throughout the house. You will see I have a beautiful quartz and amethysts and jades and malachites and all these beautiful stones. And my favorite flower in the world, the orchids. In all of my projects around the world, I always use orchids. It's one of my signature items to have in the home. So let's walk around. So first of all, we have these beautiful marble busts that were my great-grandparents that are from the Princess of Venice. And right behind it, it's a beautiful tapestry. It's a British tapestry from the 17th century that she loves. We have a beautiful set of antique Louis XV side tables that I incorporated with a more contemporary sofas by Baker Furniture, and a beautiful faux fur that I think makes it very cozy. Here we have a beautiful bronze, or French bronze from the 19th century by Lemoyne, on top of one of my beautiful tables that I produce. I produce furniture. I make rugs, I design furniture like tables, sofas, chairs. So I wanted to incorporate some of my designs into my own home. Then we have a beautiful pair of antique Louis XV bergères, well, fauteuils, and beautiful Louis XV clock. And then I have this beautiful set of roosters. I find animals to be beautiful, and I always try to incorporate animal figures to my designs. On the background is one of my favorite mirrors that my mother bought to me on a trip to Venice many years ago. So I wanted to be like the most important feature in the room, which reminds me of her. As I told you, I think a home should be all about love and all about memories and objects that bring you all those feelings to mind. So yeah, and then I have this beautiful set of antique Italian marquetry commodes that are fantastic. And also, if you can come closer, you can see a large collection of obelisks, of stones, of natural quartz that I collect. I love books. I've been a fan of books, design books. To me, they bring me joy. Every night when I go to bed, I try to grab a couple of them and go through them and feel inspired and makes my mind go relaxed, and and then I can go to sleep. This is a beautiful cabinet. I've always enjoyed and admired the William and Mary concept of furniture, which basically was Japanese or Chinese cabinets on European stands. So in this case, this is George I design on a Japanese top cabinet, which blend beautifully and make this thing called the chinoiserie that I love, no? And we all love, I guess, these days. And a few of my blue and white collection. I have a pair of antique Chinese food dogs, and they're beautiful. I've never seen those. They're like peaceful. When you see them, they have a beautiful face. If you're gonna give a close-up, they have a beautiful, peaceful face, and they're not aggressive. They're just like welcoming you. And then on top, I have this antique set of obelisks made of tortoise shell. Antique, it's like many years ago. And that I found in Palm Beach, and I really enjoy them. Flanked by these two beautiful Florentine brackets and Japanese bases on top that I always try to fill with wheat, because according to the French superstition, wheat brings you fortune and good luck. So yeah, I always try to incorporate wheat in my homes. So I found this home after I turned 50. So I used to live high in the mountains, on the suburbs, where there are bigger homes, more affordable homes, but bigger, and the air is cleaner. But the city grew so much, and there was so much traffic, that one day I was going to Colonia Roma, which is a beautiful neighborhood that I'll take you next time. And it took like 4 hours for me to get there. So I decided it was about time to move closer to where the action was going on and where all my friends live. And so I spent like a year and a half looking for this place. And I gave up. I originally wanted a house. As you know, Mexico City is an earthquake city, so I'm quite terrified of earthquakes, actually. So I didn't want a building anymore. I wanted a house. But I couldn't find a house. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to rent an apartment while I search for my ideal house. And then I came to see this apartment, and it was for rent. And I had previously seen it like 10 years ago from the late owner who passed away. So I said to the realtor, do you know if they sell this place? And she told me, well, we could find out. So she got on the phone, talked to the owner, and the owner said, well, how much are you willing to pay? And I said, how much are you willing to receive? And she says, what about this amount? I said, okay, let's do it. So we closed the deal then and there, and it was a lot of fun. So come on over, I want to show you my dining room. So welcome to my dining room. I set the table specifically for you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna tell you I'm expecting friends over, and I didn't. I wanted to share with you one of my passions and one of my biggest collections in my life, which is my China sets. I have more than 36 China sets, and in Mexico City, and then I have like 12 in Miami, and then another six or eight in Madrid. But this is one of the things that I love the most, setting a table, welcoming my friends, welcoming my loved ones. And I wanted to share with you my most prized possession as a China set, which is the Flora Danica, which is originally, it was made for the Empress Catherine the Great of Russia as a gift from the Danish king. They were negotiating some treaties and he wanted to conquer her, like flirt with her in a way of sorts. And so he had made this beautiful set of plates depicting all the flowers in Denmark and all the plants that they have. And by the end of the day, it took so long for their artisans to make it. It was only one guy painting the whole thing, that the Empress of Russia died. So they kept the set for themselves and opened parliament. After opening parliament, they did an official luncheon with the plates. So after that, they decided to manufacture them to sell to the public. Ever since, they've been making the highest quality plates to my taste. And this is it. This is the Flora Danica, which means Danish flowers. And yeah, each plate takes like around a month to make. It's all made by hand and all painted by hand. And I think there's only 2 or 3 artisans that do the whole things. So over the years, all over the world, in auctions and on flea markets and stuff, I've been collecting pieces, because if you were to buy it directly from the store, it would be so expensive that you could not afford it. So I got it, and I've reached an amount that I can set 12 people with it, with all settings and the serving platters and all. So it's beautiful. Then my friends from Ebron and Company in New York made this beautiful sets for me, specifically custom. And so each linen corresponds with the plate. And it's fantastic. Then during my stay in Spain, I met this beautiful lady who's now my friend, called Pia Rubio, who has the most beautiful China store and a table store in Spain. And she imports all these beautiful pieces from all over the world. And I saw these beautiful glasses from Paris, from a French artisan. And in this case, it's the lily of the valley, or the muguet, like the French call it, muguet, which is a beautiful flower, again, also that brings good fortune and good luck to all those who have it. And so I incorporated this with the colorway of the set, and I think it works beautifully. Together with a set of stemware flutes from Saint Louis Cristallier, that's called Tommy. It's called the Tommy flute, and it comes in all these beautiful colors, all these gem colors that I love. This one is ruby red, and I have it in emerald green, in sapphire blue, and amethyst. It's fantastic. And I incorporated with these beautiful glasses, also by Saint Louis, called Thistle. And these were the glasses that the French monarchs used to drink their wines with. So it all has a history to it, And then on an auction, I saw this beautiful bucciolati salt and pepper receptacles that I think they're beautiful, with swans, again with the birds and the animals that I love. And then I called my florist, and I think every designer should have a florist of their own, and really talk to them and share with them the idea you have for the table. So as you can see, you have the colorways of the plates on the flowers. And always, you don't want to overwhelm with flowers the table. You want to be subtle. So the star of the show is the service plates, not so much the flowers, but they complement to each other. This is a surtout de table. This what it means. It goes all over the table, on top of the table, and it's a empire style brass, gilded brass, and again complemented with the beautiful pheasants, gilded pheasants. They're silver and gilded, which I think it's beautiful. And then my mother's candelabra, brass candelabra, which are French empire style, that go beautifully with the surtout de table. And yeah, so the magic about this table is it has extensions, so you can seat almost 24 people if you want, or just 6 people if you need. No? Come on over. On this side, we have a beautiful Japanese imari vase that I love. They used to belong to my grandma. And again, we have beautiful pink quartz spheres that complement really well with the vase and with the clothes of this beautiful lady, elegant lady. This is an English painting of the 18th century that it's called the boudoir, and it represents two society ladies talking to each other. This is actually a wallpaper, and it's a British wallpaper company called Exquisite that it's represented in the States through Schumacher, and this design is called the D-Dream, and it's done. They have various colorways that you can choose, and this is called the cyan colorway, I guess. What's it called? Yeah. So it represents all this nature, and again with the birds that I love, some monkeys, the palm trees, again some more birds. You have the river, you have beautiful flowers, and the best thing about this is right behind all this is closets. So this is where I keep most of my china sets. I've always been a fan of Coco Chanel, you know, her apartment in Paris. I think everyone has seen it and it's iconic. So every time I see it, I always wanted to have a Coromandel screen of my own. And so I saw this one in Paris. And I decided to buy it because of the height. Usually Coromandel screens are really, really high. They're like, I would say, 10 feet high. And it's really hard to get like shorter, because then you would get like small screens that nobody wants. So finally I got the right height of screen, and I immediately bought it. And it's a beautiful 18th century 8-panel screen that I decided to open in two sections, like Michael Taylor, you know, the designer, the US designer back in the day, used to do. And so I think it works beautifully. And I set some indirect lighting from beneath, so it brings out all the texture. You can see all the texture and because it's all carved out, you know. It's all these layers of enamel, and then they carve them out and start bringing the designs forward. And again, with my beautiful orchids that I enjoy on this beautiful card that was my mom's. And right beneath the orchids, I have a beautiful set of a punch bowl, and that used to belong to my grandma on my father's side. And I think it reminds me of her, and every time I see it, it makes me smile, you know. And if you can see the blue cobalt glass inside, I think it's magical. So this is a beautiful commode by Charles René Boulle, and it's by Boulle, and it's all inlaid with tortoise shell and brass, which is gilded brass, which is, I find it spectacular. If you could see the details later on, make a close-up of it, I think it's fantastic, and they all tell a story. And it's like you have all these engravings and stuff that tells you historical or figures, and it's beautiful. And then on top of it, we have the same design on a clock, on a mantle clock, which I think it goes beautifully. First, my mother gave me this piece, and then she decided that I also had to have this because it went really well together with this, with the commode. I've lived here for this time, and in this time I realized that one of my rooms is my favorite winter room, which is the red room, and the other favorite room is the green room, which is the summer room, where you can see the plants. I have a small balcony with plants, and it's very calming, very soothing during the summer, during the hot summer days. And the red room for winter is ideal because it's a really warm color, and it's really cozy, and it's really, you know, like embraces you. So those are my two favorite rooms. So come on over, I'll show you my favorite room in the house for summer, which is the green room. As I told you before, it reminds me of South Florida, the quintessential Palm Beach look, I guess. And so I wanted a soothing place, like a jardin d'hiver, which means a winter garden inside your house. And I think it's fantastic. And so come on in. It's very soothing. It's all done in green tones with a beautiful green carpet by Stark, with green leopard, and beautiful scalamandre chinoiserie fabric that is called dragon. I don't remember the name is, but it's a dragon fabric from scalamandre that I love, and so it's all in greens, and I complemented it with blue. I think always green and blue go beautifully together. So we have the Food Dogs by Ralph Lauren lamps, and then the leopard, and then the dragons. So you have all these animals all over my house, you know, which is kind of crazy, and I love it. It's and then we have a beautiful palm trees, and I always try to incorporate mirrors in every room I make because they bring light, and I think a touch of glamour to every room. Wouldn't you agree? Then right behind me is a beautiful, massive painting by an American artist friend of mine called Ray Smith. This painting actually was given to me by him and his gallerist many years ago, and yeah, I really enjoy it. It's you have all these beautiful blue tones that go really well with the lamps, and then you have all these greens, light greens and aquas, and then the pink that always brings a touch of femininity to a room, and gives it a little bit of yumminess, I think, you know. Ever since I was a little child, I guess bubble gum was pink and everything was pink, and then you somehow represent pink with strawberries and stuff, so it always makes you want something sweet. And I incorporated this also, Louis XV fauteuils or chairs, and upholstered again with the scalamandre green fabric that I love. And I placed all these beautiful two wall brackets with two of my blue and white bases, and the beautiful brass lamps, and then again the mirror that gives it, the light bounces, I think, magically, and makes it look more glamorous, I guess, always. Huh? Come on over, I'll show you my friend's favorite place. Come on. My home was originally, this place was originally very classic, but it had too many moldings, and it has, I love high ceilings. So what I did was take up the ceilings and maybe loosen up a little bit of the moldings. I decided to do all the boiserie that was in natural wood on a white lacquer, so it would be smoother and easier. And so yeah, I toned it down a bit and made it more contemporary, more young. I didn't want to feel in an old place. And as I told you, I think a home reflects the personality of the owner. So I don't want it to scare away my friends. And in Mexico, drinking is a lot of part of a culture, you know. So everybody loves tequila and everybody loves to drink. And I have all my favorite tequilas, you know, Don Julio. This one made by my friend Eva Longoria, that she dedicated to my name, which is, she's very sweet, and also Casa Dragones, and also look, it's with my name. She's a very sweet friend, sweet lady, sorry. And so yeah, all my tequilas, my Clase Azul, which is one of my favorites, and all my friends, at the end of the night, they all gather here and have a great time till it's really in the morning, I guess. My neighbors really love me. So I was telling you before in the living room that I'm a big fan of William and Mary cabinets. So this is one of the first cabinets I got, and this is actually the responsible for the room color, you know. So this is, I was inspired by this color to get all the room done in the same tones, up and down, but same, all green and all beautiful. And yeah, and it's filled with all my childhood photo albums and all my stuff that I'll show you later. And on this side, we have a beautiful set of Russian malachite obelisks and solid malachite spheres. This is so heavy that I mentioned to you about, that I love all these stones and minerals all around my house. Right next to the bottles, I have these two huge, that I'll show you, these two huge sets of jade, it's solid jade jars. Can you see it? And again, they're carved with birds, flowers, and they're supposed to be good luck. So welcome to my library, or as my friends call it, the Red Room, which everybody loves as well. It's very kinky, some say. Come on. So I've always collected books. It's another collection of mine, and it's been really complicated when you move from home to pack all these books and to store them and then put them back again. It takes a lot of work, and your hands take a beating. But I really enjoy books, and to me they make me travel, make me imagine, make me inspire. So it seemed fit for me to make for myself a library. So I tried to do my best in the space, and I did a beautiful library, all in red tones. That I think makes it very, very rich and very, very warm. And I think everyone should have at least once in their lifetimes a red room in their home. And in this room, you can see a mixture of textures and fabrics. You can see a beautiful fabric, silk damask by Scalamandre as well. I always love animal prints, so I try to incorporate it like really small touches because you cannot feel overwhelmed by it. So I incorporated the leopardo pattern also by Scalamandre. And so I have a beautiful set of a pair of pillows and then some footrests. Those footrests used to be used in Europe during the court days in England, and meant for old people to put their feet up high while sitting down. And I'm reaching that age, by the way. So, and so I made this beautiful ottoman in homage to Queen Eugenia Victoria from Spain, that she really loved capitoneo, which is tufted. And then we have the beautiful TV where I watch you Homeworthy every day. And then I wanted to make the room feel bigger and lighter, so I incorporated a bit of a mirror to it. And then I have this beautiful, also French Louis XVI fauteuil from the 18th century, reupholstered in the beautiful velvet, leopardo velvet, next to this small lamp that is very French, I guess. Then we have these beautiful ottomans. I always have an issue with coffee tables. I don't really like coffee tables. I think they're kind of sometimes stiff and hard to a room, and I think an ottoman makes it more soft and welcoming. So what I always do in my designs is place a couple of ottomans and then place a huge custom-made tray on top of it, so you can lay your favorite things or artifacts that you want to feature. And so these are, again, my mother's glass spheres. She collected, well, she collects, and a beautiful Coromandel style box that I love. It's made of enamel, and it's, I think, 17th century as well. With a beautiful set of hurricane candlesticks by Ralph Lauren in silver, and my florals. I make for my clients, since I make all these beautiful boats and second homes. I make beautiful faux flowers. So these ones are actually silk, and they're so realistic. Everybody wants them. It's one of the top seller items I have in my store, and I have them in all the colors and all the sizes, and they're beautiful, and they last a lifetime. You know, just don't let them get some dust on it. If you leave your house, just place a piece of fabric on top of it or something. And then this painting, it's a Mexican painter, and it depicts a convent in the 19th century, and it gives me peace. It was owned by my grandparents, and I almost can magically hear the sound of the fountain, you know, and it gives me peace and tranquility to look at it. And I have all my fashion books that I love fashion. Then I have my English books and New York books. So being in a library, I wanted to show you one of my latest books that I'm really proud of. It was published 2015. Now I'm working on two new ones, one for interior design, my interior projects in Europe, and the other one for my tables. And so I'm working on both of them now. I'm really excited, and I'll invite you to when I have them ready, so you can have a preview. So this is one of my recent books, and I wanted to show it to you. And also, I wanted to show you one of these very interesting pieces, that it's a human face made, if you see, made of small animals, you see? So they're all tiny animals like sheep, and you have leopards, and you have birds, and it's really priceless. I think it used to belong to my mom, and it's beautiful. You see all the marquetry, all the inlaid bone marquetry, which is fantastic. I don't know, I think it's nature. I love like plants, I love animals, I love, I don't know, I guess in my other life I was a hunter. No, I'm just kidding. So this you have to see. This it used to be my, I used to have a piano teacher that was like a friend. It was originally my mother's piano teacher. She was an older lady, and she was the sweetest lady you've ever met. And when she passed away, she gave me this. This is all I got from her estate, and you cannot believe what it is. It's dressed ticks. Ticks. Can you believe it? They dress them. In Mexico, they have you have ¿cómo se dice una lupa? They have a loop on top of them, so you can see the tiny, tiny, tiny clothes they have. I think this cracks me up. This is crazy. I love it. And then I have these two ancient calendars. Well, not ancient, but old calendars that they used to have in bronze, so you can change the dates and the day. And it was from 1939 to 1978. So I think it's interesting. And then I have this beautiful musical box that my brother gifted me when we were little children on a trip to Salzburg. And so it reminds me of him. And then I have all my beautiful books I really enjoy. And then I really enjoy having tea. So I'm a really big tea drinker. I'm allergic or sensitive to caffeine, so I cannot drink coffee, even though I love it. But ever since I discovered tea, I always drink decaffeinated tea, which I love. And my favorite is Earl Grey. So you can see tea sets all over the house. So I'll drink tea in the morning, in the afternoon, and late at night. So I love tea. So yeah. And this painting is another interesting story. When I visited Russia with my grandma back in the 80s, late 80s, there was still a communist party, and there were, so there's a lot of memories attached to this painting. So I've always liked to have it nearby and just look at it once in a while to remember her and have a good time. So this is my home office. Someday I'll show you my atelier and my showroom. But meanwhile, my house, this is my home office. This is where I take those late nights, since we're on a different time slot, Madrid and Mexico. Most of my meetings I take via Zoom, and so I need a decent place to work with at 3 a.m. in the morning. So this is my desk, which is a beautiful desk. It was this one I bought myself in Paris at Christie's. It used to be an auction for the Versailles Fund, something like that, and it's an original piece. It costed me an arm and a leg, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's a luxury to work in one of these desks. Maybe, who knows, some king worked on it someday. I don't know. And then I have a beautiful animal print desk set by Ralph Lauren, and which is zebra hide that I really love. And then I have all this stationery with my name on it. I really think when one approaches a friend or a client, this gives it a special feeling, a special touch, and I always try to do everything by hand and personal notes, like old days, I'm an old type of guy. And then my computer, as one ages, one needs glasses, and one needs, by the way, one needs a bigger display so you can see all these emails and all the floor plans and all the layouts. And so I do need a bigger space. And there's a beautiful desk set, also French, Napoleon III, I guess, gilded bronze and marble, that I also bought at an auction in Paris. and also again my beautiful flowers, and a gilded mirror, and that gives it a special, touch on top of the whole thing. So it's like making a beautiful painting, the whole thing, as you'll see later on with a walkthrough. So yeah. So come on over to the guest room, which is blue. As I told you, my home is my laboratory, it's where I can try new things and new colors and see if it works or not. Come on over. This is the blue room, and this is the guest room. This is where all my out-of-town friends come and stay, and I try to treat them like in a hotel, like a 5-star hotel with a 5-star beautiful linens. This is done by Pratesi. This is a vintage design that they don't make anymore. I always try to spoil my friends every time they're here, and so in all my designs, I always try to have the best beds. I tell to my clients, once you sleep in one of my beds, you'll see why you hire a designer. I think having a beautiful bed makes the next day so much better and so much nicer, and makes you make better decisions. So I think it has a very important impact, a beautiful done bed. And so in this case, we have a beautiful canopy bed that I love, and flanked by these two beautiful Louis XV commodes that are just the right scale to have like a nightstand. And these beautiful lamps, again by Ralph Lauren. This is not paid advertisement, but I love Ralph Lauren. I've worked with them for many, many years, and they did my book launch in New York in the beautiful store. So I really appreciate them, and I really enjoy their quality of the stuff they do. So I think the blue and white really complements the blue and white of the fabrics, and then we have this beautiful set of fauteuils or vergères, French, and upholstered in this beautiful silk velvet damask, which is kind of a jewel tone. It's like a sapphire. On top of it, it was one of my grandfather's paintings, which is actually a watercolor by a French artist, and it's representing Mozart playing harpsichord to a cardinal, no? And you can see all the detail of the fabric, which is amazing. You can see even the lace work of the tablecloth, which is for a watercolor. I mean, can you believe it? It's fantastic. I really enjoy it. And then on this side we have La Valenciana. This is my mother's side, Spanish side, and Spain present in my house. This is a very beautiful, typical dress lady from Valencia, Spain, in this beautiful Spanish frame, as you can see. And she's carrying these beautiful red flowers that I think complements perfectly to the red room next to it. And all the blues are actually found in the room that I really love. Come on over. This is the desk for my guests, so they can write notes and have have some tea in the morning or whatever. These flowers are natural. This is beautiful. This is natural. And so yeah, and I upholstered the chair to have they can have their laptop here and then just write home or whatever. And it's really nice. And the views, you have to see the views later on. They're fantastic. Now it's time for the main room. So I want to show you where I sleep. Come on. So first of all, I'm a big fan of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is Our Lady from Mexico. It's a patron virgin from Mexico, and I'm really devoted to her. And then we come to this beautiful painting that was originally gonna be inside that room, but it didn't fit. And it's by a Mexican artist called Fernanda. And she's amazing, and she's very talented, and I really love the explosion of color and the contrast on the background. So it kind of sets the mood for the transition. And then I've always loved how Europeans place these curtains on the entryways of rooms. It was originally done to have all the temperature in the winter to keep the rooms warm and not to have all this flow of airs. So, but I think they make it really grand and really amazing. I always like to have a living area inside a master bedroom or a main bedroom, to somewhere where you can be, relaxing and reading and just be quiet, And so this is my living area of the room. It's basically done by an antique French Empire sofa that I reupholstered and put a bit of a modern twist on it, and flanked by these beautiful Italian chairs, upholstered in this beautiful tiger print that I love. And again, this is another one of my beautiful flowers that I have at store, and they sell like crazy. They're beautiful and they look so realistic, right? And the reason why I do this is because I'm allergic to flowers, to like the pollen, so I cannot have real flowers in my room. That's why, but I love flowers. So funny story about this enamel box. I bought it in Paris, and by the time it came to Mexico, there was a box that was like 9 feet by 9 feet, wooden box. And I said, what's inside? What did I buy? My God, there's nowhere I can hide this. So when I opened it, it was another box, and then another box, and then another box. It was like a joke, and this was inside of it. But yeah, I really love it. It's called cloisonné, and it's enamel, several layers of enamel and brass on top of it, which is very lovely, and it really goes well with the desk. That is chinoiserie style desk. This is a British piece, and inspired by the Chinese style, with the lacquer and with all the with all the figures in gold. And again, my name on all the papers, and my collection of silver trinkets and stuff. And my parents, when they were in Madrid, my father when he married my mother, one of my trips to Cairo, Egypt, on top of the Sphinx, which was kind of crazy, and then some trips to England when I was at the Rothschild mansion called Waddesdon Manor, which is fantastic. It's one of my beautiful favorite homes that I've visited. And some trinkets that I like to keep. And then I have the bed, and again with some beautiful linens. And when my mother started deciding who would keep which paintings from her estate, she decided to give me this one because when I was a little boy, I put my hand inside boiling caramel, boiling sugar, and I burned it really bad. And when it was on one of our ranches, like 5 hours driving from Mexico City, so I could not have any hospitals or anything, so she had to take care of me herself. And I was crying so bad in front of this painting, and everything I could see was the painting. So as a gift to that, she gave me this beautiful painting, which is a Madonna done in the 18th century. It's an Italian piece. As you can see, the Florentine frame, and it's a beautiful, beautiful painting that reminds me of that painful day, but also reminds me of her and her love and care for me. So it's kind of sweet. And then I have this beautiful screen. These panels I bought in Paris on the flea market, and they were just rolled paper. They're painted by hand. They're 17th century as well. And I called my upholsterer in Mexico, and I said, can you mount them on something to make them usable? And he said, well, why don't we make a screen? So he made a beautiful 12-leaf screen, and I decided just to keep 8 leaves for my bedroom and split them in 2 ways to make it kind of a cocoon and complement the canopy. And so yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. I think it's by the way, it's scenery from Paris. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. You can see over there Notre Dame, and you can see the column of Place Vendôme, and Notre Dame, and Ile Saint Louis. So you'll see of a lot of Paris, and maybe dream you're in Paris. And here you have one of the arches. It's right next to the Louvre, and you can see the Louvre right behind it. And I think I love it. I think home means to me my personal place where I can come and recharge my batteries and relax and just be safe and be where I think it resumes to love. I think you're surrounded by memories, by loved ones, by memories that came from loved ones, and so I think your home is love. I think love is a welcoming place filled with love.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.